Michael follows the rise of Michael Jackson from a talented child in Gary, Indiana, to one of the biggest entertainers in the world. On the surface, it's a story about fame, music, and success. However, underneath that success is a story about control, identity, perfectionism, and the cost of being treated like a product instead of a person. The film opens in Gary, Indiana. Joseph Jackson works long hours as a steel worker while trying to provide for his family. Seeing musical talent in his children, he decides to form a band consisting of Jackie, Tito, Jermaine, Marlon, and Michael. Although Michael is the youngest member, his voice immediately stands out. Joseph quickly recognizes this and places him at the center of the group. The brothers begin practicing almost every day. Rehearsals are strict and demanding. Mistakes aren't tolerated, and Joseph pushes the boys relentlessly. While the children enjoy performing, it becomes clear that Joseph views success as something that must be earned through discipline. This establishes the film's central conflict. Joseph creates the opportunity that eventually changes his family's life forever. At the same time, he becomes the source of many of the emotional wounds that Michael carries throughout the film. The band itself symbolizes both freedom and captivity. Music gives Michael a path out of poverty, but it also becomes something tied to pressure and expectations. The movie avoids portraying Joseph as purely evil or purely good. Instead, it presents him as someone who genuinely wants success for his children, but believes fear and control are the only ways to achieve it. The brothers continue rehearsing for months. Joseph constantly critiques them and demands perfection. Michael spends most of his childhood singing, dancing, and practicing. As the rehearsals continue, Michael becomes increasingly skilled. He learns how to command attention on stage and develops the confidence that later makes him a superstar. However, moments that should feel like childhood are replaced by work. This introduces one of the movie's most important themes, the loss of childhood. Michael's talent allows him to achieve extraordinary things, but the film suggests that these achievements come with sacrifices. While other children are playing and making memories, Michael is working. The rehearsals symbolize the foundation of everything Michael becomes later. They create his greatness, but they also create many of his insecurities. The movie repeatedly asks whether success is worth the cost. The Jackson 5 begin performing at local venues and talent competitions. Audiences immediately respond to Michael's energy and charisma. As the group gains attention, their confidence grows. The brothers start believing they may actually have a future in music. Michael's performances become the center of every show. For the first time, performing feels less like work and more like self-expression. The stage becomes Michael's safe place. Throughout the film, he often appears more comfortable in front of thousands of people than he does in private. The applause symbolizes acceptance. Michael receives admiration from audiences that he rarely receives from his father. The group's growing popularity attracts attention from Motown Records. They eventually sign a deal, changing the family's future forever. The Jackson 5 quickly become national stars. Their songs climb the charts, and they begin touring across the country. The family's financial situation improves dramatically. This represents the crossing from ordinary life into celebrity life. Motown symbolizes opportunity. It provides the platform needed to turn Michael's talent into worldwide fame. However, the film quietly hints that Michael is entering another system of control. He's no longer just answering to his father. Now he must answer to an entire industry. With their success growing, the Jackson family leaves Gary and moves into a large mansion in Encino, California. The move is a visible sign of how much their lives have changed. The poverty and struggles of their old life seem far away. Yet despite the luxury, many of the family dynamics remain the same. The mansion symbolizes achievement. It is everything the family worked toward. Yet the emotional conflicts that existed in Gary still exist in California. The film suggests that money can solve certain problems, but it can't automatically heal emotional wounds. Motown founder Berry Gordy notices that Michael possesses something special. While the Jackson 5 are successful as a group, Gordy believes Michael has the potential to become an even bigger solo star. Michael begins realizing that his future may extend beyond the group. This introduces the conflict between being part of a family and becoming your own person. For years, Michael has existed as one member of a group. Now people are beginning to see him as an individual. The film presents this as both exciting and frightening. Michael signs with Epic Records and begins working on his solo album Off the Wall with producer Quincy Jones. The collaboration immediately feels different. Quincy encourages creativity and experimentation. Rather than controlling Michael, he helps him develop his own voice. The album becomes a major success. Quincy Jones represents mentorship rather than authority. Unlike Joseph, Quincy guides Michael without controlling him. This creates an environment where Michael can grow artistically. The success of Off the Wall proves that Michael can succeed outside of his family structure. Despite Michael's success, Joseph continues acting as though he deserves credit for everything Michael has achieved. Tensions rise between father and son. Their disagreements become more direct and emotional. Michael begins questioning whether he can truly become independent while Joseph remains involved in his career. This is less about business and more about ownership. Joseph believes he built Michael's career. Michael believes he earned it. The argument reflects a larger theme about parents and children. At what point does guidance become control? When does a child stop owing their future to their parents? Michael speaks with his bodyguard and close friend Bill Bray. Bill encourages him to trust himself and make decisions independently. For perhaps the first time, Michael seriously considers taking complete control of his career. Throughout the film, many people want something from Michael. Bill stands out because he simply wants Michael to be happy. His role symbolizes genuine friendship and emotional support, something Michael rarely receives. Michael hires attorney John Branca and instructs him to fire Joseph by fax. The moment is simple but significant. It marks Michael's official separation from his father's control. The fax symbolizes distance. Michael doesn't confront Joseph face to face. Instead, he removes him from his professional life through a business decision. The scene represents Michael choosing his own future. As Michael's fame grows, his insecurities become more visible. Feeling unhappy with his appearance, he undergoes rhinoplasty. The procedure reflects his growing discomfort with how he sees himself. This explores the gap between public perception and self-perception. Millions of people admire Michael, yet he struggles to admire himself. The surgery symbolizes an attempt to gain control over an insecurity. It reflects how fame often increases pressure rather than reducing it. Michael begins searching for ideas for his next album. He watches television, studies different influences, and constantly experiments with new concepts. After seeing a news report about gang violence between the Crips and Bloods, he writes Beat It. Later, while watching horror films, he finds inspiration for the album title Thriller. Michael absorbs ideas from everywhere. Violence becomes Beat It. Horror films become Thriller. The scene highlights his creativity. Rather than copying the world around him, he transforms it into something entirely new. The album is released and becomes a global phenomenon. Sales records are shattered. Michael's popularity reaches levels rarely seen before. Everywhere he goes, people recognize him. Thriller symbolizes perfection. It's the moment where talent, hard work, opportunity, and creativity all come together. Ironically, it's also the point where Michael begins losing privacy. The bigger he becomes, the harder it becomes for him to live a normal life. Michael and John Branca meet CBS Records president Walter Yetnikoff. They want MTV to play Michael's music videos. Yetnikoff pressures MTV by threatening to pull CBS artists from the network. MTV eventually agrees. This is about more than music videos. It represents barriers being challenged and changed. Michael's success forces institutions to adapt. The film presents this as a moment where his influence extends beyond entertainment and begins affecting the industry itself. Joseph meets with boxing promoter Don King regarding a Jackson's reunion tour. A major Pepsi sponsorship is offered if Michael participates. Michael once again finds himself pulled back into family obligations. Just when Michael seems free, he gets pulled back to where he started. Joseph symbolizes the life Michael is trying to move beyond. The reunion tour reminds us that family relationships are often more complicated than simply walking away. During filming, pyrotechnics malfunction and Michael's hair catches fire. He suffers severe burns and nerve damage. The accident symbolizes the dangers of constantly pushing forward without rest. The very machine helping make him successful also harms him. Michael and Branca sue Pepsi. Instead of keeping the settlement money for himself, Michael donates it to the burn center that treated him. This highlights a side of Michael often overlooked in stories about celebrities. Rather than focusing on revenge or profit, he chooses to help others. The burn center becomes a symbol of turning pain into something positive. After recovering, Michael tours with his brothers. The performances are successful, but Michael increasingly feels that his future lies elsewhere. He has already evolved beyond being simply a member of the Jacksons. The tour feels like a final chapter rather than a new beginning. Michael appreciates where he came from, but he understands that he can't stay there forever. Growth sometimes requires leaving familiar things behind. At the final show, Michael announces that it will be the last time the Jacksons perform together. The crowd reacts emotionally. The decision effectively ends his professional relationship with Joseph. This is one of the movie's emotional turning points. Michael finally stops living according to other people's expectations. The announcement symbolizes self-determination. For the first time, he completely chooses his own path. The film concludes with Michael performing during the Bad Tour at Wembley Stadium. The audience is enormous. Michael stands alone at the center of one of the biggest concerts in the world. The boy from Gary has become a global icon. The ending is both triumphant and bittersweet. Michael achieved everything he dreamed of. He became one of the most successful entertainers in history. Yet we understand the sacrifices that made that success possible. The final image isn't simply about fame. It's about a person who spent years fighting for ownership of his own life. The crowd symbolizes the world that loves him. The fact that he stands alone on stage symbolizes the loneliness that can come with becoming larger than life. Michael is ultimately a story about independence. While the film celebrates Michael Jackson's extraordinary talent and achievements, it spends just as much time exploring the pressures that shaped him. Joseph's control, the demands of the music industry, and Michael's own insecurities all become obstacles he must overcome. Every major victory in Michael's life happens when he takes control of his own decisions. Whether it's leaving Motown, working with Quincy Jones, firing Joseph, creating Thriller, or ending the Jacksons' touring career, his greatest achievements come when he chooses his own direction. The film suggests that Michael's journey was never just about becoming famous. It was about becoming his own person. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.